Hello students, in this interesting session of metals and non-metals, we learn about what is a metal and what is a non-metal. So you must have seen different objects around you. Some are made up of metals and some are made up of non-metals. For example, you must have seen jewelry that is made up of gold, silver and platinum. Utensils either made up of steel, stainless steel or aluminium. Then copper wires or aluminium wires. So have you ever thought why can't we use sulfur for making wires, or why we use only aluminium for making foil? Why can't we use gold and silver for making electrical wires? Or we can say, why can't we use coal or charcoal for making sheets just like gold and silver? So that is all about properties of metals and non-metals. So let's begin with this interesting session. First of all, we learn about what is an element. So element is considered as pure substances. For example, if I write over here carbon or nitrogen, so the simplest form that cannot be divided further is defined as element, that we all know. So this is the pure substance. Now element has been further classified as metal, non-metal as well as metalloid, that is also called a semi-metal. That is all we are going to discuss in this lecture. First is what is a metal. So metals are hard, they have a shine, luster, they are good conductors of heat and electricity, they are sonorous, they produce a ringing sound, as well as we can say good conductors of heat as well as electricity. So we have different examples around us like copper, silver, gold, iron, aluminium, etc. These all properties are followed by metal that we are going to discuss one by one later on. Next is non-metal. Non-metal means, for example, have you seen coal or charcoal? So that is made up of carbon. That means non-metals are generally brittle, means they are not so hard. They are not good conductors of heat and electricity. They do not have luster. They have low melting and boiling point. So that is all properties of non-metal. We have different examples: carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. What are these? These all are non-metals. Next interesting thing is metalloid. Now some metals are there which follow the properties of both metals as well as non-metal. So we have put them in separate category of metalloid or semi-metal. For example, silicon, germanium, arsenic, etc. These all are metalloids. So let's begin with the physical properties of metal. First of all, we'll discuss about occurrence of metal as well as non-metal. Means how do metals occur? So basically metals are found either in free state or in combined state. For example, some metals which have very low reactivity, just like gold, platinum. So they can occur in free state, they do not easily combine with other elements. But if we talk about reactive metals just like aluminium, sodium, potassium, etc., they have very high reactivity. So they easily combine with other elements, for example oxygen, to produce what? Combined form. So that is they occur in combined form. Okay, then after that we'll discuss about occurrence of non-metal. Similar to metals, non-metal can be found in either free state or combined state. Free state means those non-metal which have very less reactivity, just like argon, neon, helium, krypton, xenon, etc. They can occur in free state because they do not easily combine with other elements. These are also known as group of noble gases. Next is some are found in combined state also because they have high reactivity. Just like if we talk about oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen. So you must have seen them occurring in different combined form. Like oxygen forms easily H2O, CO2, nitrogen can form NO2, okay, N2O, that is combined form. So why they are forming? Because they are reactive. After that, next physical property we are going to discuss, that is physical state. So physical state means how do metal and non-metal occur, either in solid form, liquid form or gaseous form. So metals are generally solid. For example, you must have seen copper, aluminium, iron, gold, silver. These all are in solid state. But we have an exception over here because chemistry is all about exceptions. That is mercury. So mercury is the only metal which is found in liquid state. Next, if we talk about non-metals, so non-metals can occur in all the three states of matter, whether it is solid, liquid or gas. So most of the non-metals are solid, just like we have phosphorus, sulfur or coal, that is carbon is present inside it. Then the only non-metal which occurs in liquid state is bromine. Then after that, most of the non-metals are gases like oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, chlorine, fluorine, etc. So that means it can occur in all the three states, solid, liquid and gas. Let's move ahead and discuss the next property, that is hardness. So as we all know, metals are generally hard. You must have seen iron. Can you break that easily? No, because it's very hard. But again, we have an exception over here, sodium and potassium. These are two metals which are also known as soft metals because they are so soft that you can easily cut them with a knife. But other metals like copper, aluminium, these are hard. We cannot cut them with a knife. If we talk about non-metals, non-metals are generally brittle. Brittle means they can easily be broken into pieces. If we try to beat them with a hammer, then they are brittle. That means they will break down into smaller pieces. But here is an exception of diamond. Diamond, that is made up of carbon, allotrope of carbon, but carbon is a non-metal. So, diamond is the only made up of non-metal which is hardest known natural substance. So, exceptions are important. You have to remember these. Next property we have malleability. Malleability means the property by which a metal, we are going to discuss first of all for metal, by which a metal can be drawn or beaten into sheets. If we beat the metal with the help of hammer, then if we are able to form thin sheets, this property is known as malleability. You must have seen aluminium foil. So how do we prepare that? When aluminium metal is beaten with the help of hammer, then it can form thin sheets. So this property is known as malleability. But if we talk about non-metals, can non-metals form sheet? Have you seen any sheet of sulfur, coal, charcoal? No, because they are brittle. If we try to beat them with a hammer, they will broken down into small pieces. So we can say that they are brittle. That's why they cannot form sheets. Example can be sulfur, carbon, phosphorus, etc. Next property we have ductility. This is also very interesting property. First, let's discuss it for metal. Ductility means the property through which a metal can be stretched or drawn into thin wires without breaking is known as ductility. That simply means ability to form wires. So you must have seen different electrical wires made up of copper or aluminium. Have you seen any wire made up of phosphorus or carbon? No, because they cannot be drawn into thin wires, as well as they are not as good conductors as like metals. So we can say metals can be easily drawn into thin wire, whether it is aluminium wire, copper wire, etc. Gold and silver are the two metals which can be easily drawn into wires, but we do not use them because they are expensive. So we generally use aluminium and copper for this purpose. Next, if we talk about non-metals, then non-metals we can say are not ductile because they cannot be stretched into wire. They are brittle, they will break easily. Examples are carbon, phosphorus, sulfur, etc. Next property we are going to discuss is luster. Luster means a beautiful shine, a shining surface. So as we all know metals, that metals possess a shiny surface that is known as luster, and this is also known as metallic luster. Like we purchase a jewelry made up of gold, silver or platinum. So you must have seen that they have a natural shine over their surface known as metallic luster. Or we can see an example here, copper. So that is metals have a shiny surface. But what about non-metals? Do they have any shine? Like for example, coal made up of carbon. Is it shiny? No. So we can say that they are dull in nature. But again, exception is here because chemistry is incomplete without exception. So two exceptions are here, that is graphite and iodine. Graphite and iodine, though they are non-metals, but still they possess a shiny surface. So that is about luster. Next property we are going to discuss is conductivity. Conductivity means that how metals conduct heat and electricity, and why do non-metals not conduct heat and electricity. So first of all, if I talk about metals, then metals are good conductors of both heat as well as electricity. For example, you can perform a simple activity. If I take an iron rod and heat it, then what happens? The heat gets transferred from one end to another end. After some time, I will notice the other end also becomes red hot. Why? Because heat can be easily transferred through the metal. So that proves metal is a good conductor of heat. Let's take next example. Why do we use copper wire? Means a metal in framing wire. Because they can conduct electricity. Why? Because they have electrons. Okay, electron conduct electricity, that's why we can say due to the movement of free electron, metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Example you all know, that is copper, aluminium, gold, silver, etc. Next example we have about non-metal. So non-metals are poor conductors of heat and electricity. Okay, because they do not have free electron to conduct electricity, and secondly, they do not conduct heat also. For example, you can take sulfur. If I heat sulfur, then it will not conduct heat. Second, can I make wires of phosphorus? No, because it is a poor conductor of electricity. But again, we have an exception over here, graphite. Graphite is made up of a non-metal, that is carbon, but it is a very good conductor of electricity. And do you know a fact that which metal is the best conductor of heat and electricity? That is silver. But we do not use it because it's expensive. So we prefer here copper and aluminium. Let's move ahead. After that, we are having next physical property, that is sonorous or sonority. Now this property means, if we talk about metal, when we hit a metal with some object, it produces a very pleasant ringing sound. That is known as sonority. So that's why the bells, gongs, these are made up of metal because they produce a ringing sound. So you can see an example here. But what can we say about non-metals? Obviously, they are not sonorous because they will not produce ringing sound. Examples we can take, like for example silicon, carbon, phosphorus, etc. Then let's move ahead. Next property we have density. Density means how dense a metal or non-metal is. It is generally defined as mass per unit volume. So if we talk about metals, then metals possess moderate to high density. That means in simple words we can say they are generally heavy. For example, we can write over here iron, gold, silver. These metals possess high density, but some metals possess moderate or low density also. Like for example, potassium, lithium, sodium. What about non-metals? Non-metals possess generally low to moderate density, means they are not so heavy. We can take different examples, carbon, silicon, phosphorus, etc. So density tells us how heavier a metal or non-metal is. Next important property is melting and boiling point. So what can we say about metals? We know metals are hard. So that means they have high melting and boiling point. For example, in iron industry, we need very high temperature to melt an iron. Why? Because it has very high melting and boiling point. Means we can say either they have moderate or high melting or boiling point because they are hard. But what can we say about non-metals? They possess wide range of melting or boiling point because they are generally brittle. They are not so hard, but they do not have any fixed melting or boiling point. Wide range means we have a range. For example, between 500 to 700 degrees Celsius, but we do not have a fixed temperature, whereas metals have fixed boiling point and melting point. Okay, so next physical property of metal and non-metal we are going to have here, that is tensile strength. So first of all, what is the meaning of this word tensile strength? Tensile strength means maximum load that a substance can bear without breaking. So first, if we talk about metals, metals can bear maximum load without breaking. For example, if you take iron metal and if some heavy weight, for example heavy stones are tied to it, will it break easily? No. That means metals have high tensile strength. We can say this. But what about non-metals? Let's take an example of sulfur. We know that non-metals are brittle in nature. So if I try to tie some heavy weight, can it bear that? No. It will break into pieces. That means non-metals have low tensile strength as compared to metals. So these are all physical properties of metals and non-metals. Now let's discuss some of the interesting questions related to the topic we have discussed. So first question we have, which one of the following statements is incorrect about metals? Metals are generally solid at room temperature. That is correct. Only one exception we have, that is liquid metal mercury. Metals generally have high density. That is also correct. Metals have low tensile strength. This is incorrect. Metals are lustrous. That is also correct. And none of these cannot be obviously the option here. So that means which is incorrect here? Metals have low tensile strength. Option number C is incorrect here. Okay, that means we can write C here is incorrect. Next interesting question we are having over here. Find the odd one out from the following. So let's see what are the options. Germanium, arsenic, tellurium, fluorine and none of these. So if we carefully see the options, then fluorine is odd one out here. Okay, so that means option number D is correct here because rest germanium, arsenic and tellurium, these are semi-metals. Okay, then next question we are having over here. Another interesting one, which of these substances has one substance that does not belong to the group because its physical state is different from the other two substances in the group. So according to physical state, you have to classify the odd one out. Iron, copper, aluminium all are solid metals. Oxygen, sulfur, hydrogen all are non-metals, but oxygen and hydrogen are in gaseous state and sulfur is in solid state. Mercury, water, alcohol, according to physical state, these three are in liquid state because mercury is a liquid metal. Carbon, silicon, phosphorus, according to physical state, these are all solid non-metals. So that means option number B here will be the correct answer. Okay, then next question we are having over here. Spoons of different materials are used to stir a hot drink. So which of the following spoons will get heat up fastest? Plastic spoon, steel spoon, glass spoon, wooden spoon. So obviously steel spoon has conductivity. It will be a good conductor of heat. So it will get heat up fastest. So correct answer here is option number B. Next question we are having over here, that is Namita categorized the different elements as shown below. Okay. So we have to check whether she has classified it correctly or not. Let's see. First is metal. Sodium is metal, aluminium is metal, sulfur non-metal, iron metal, copper metal and phosphorus non-metal. This classification is okay. Next, hardness. She has put a tick over here that sodium according to her is hard, but sodium is a soft metal. So obviously this classification is wrong. Next we have malleability. So sodium is a soft metal, okay. It cannot be easily malleable. Aluminium is malleable, sulfur non-malleable. Iron, she has put a cross over here, non-malleable, but iron is malleable. So this is wrong. Okay, this classification is also wrong. Ductility, okay, sodium is soft metal, it cannot be easily drawn into wire. But for aluminium also, she has put a cross over here. Okay, and for sulfur, which is brittle, she has put a tick over here. That means D is also a wrong classification. Let's check for E. Metals, good conductor of electricity. Non-metal, bad conductor. Metal, good conductor. Metal, good conductor. And non-metal, bad conductor of electricity. Okay, this one is also correct. That means B, C and D are incorrect. Let's see what is being asked in the question. So, which of the characteristic is not correctly matched by Namita? Obviously, C. So, correct answer here is C. Next interesting question we are having, that is, the given table shows the melting and boiling points of 4 elements. You have to identify which element will be in liquid state at 311 degree Fahrenheit. So first of all, let's convert this Fahrenheit into Celsius scale. So we have a formula over here that degree Celsius is equal to 5/9 degree F minus 32. So here you have to put the value of the temperature given in degree Fahrenheit. So if I put the value, then it will be 5/9 311 minus 32. Okay, so it will be 5/9 into 279. So answer you will get around 155 degree Celsius. Now according to this, that means E4 will be in liquid state at this temperature because boiling point is 160 degrees Celsius, which is above 155. So obviously at this temperature it will be existing in liquid state. So correct answer is E4. Okay, that means option number A. Next interesting question we are having, that is, which metal is less dense than water? Calcium, sodium, iron and lead. So sodium is less dense than water. Option number B. Next question we are having over here. Consider the following two statements. Statement A, oxygen is a metal. That is wrong because oxygen is a non-metal. Nitrogen is a non-metal. Correct. So which of the following is correct with respect to the above statements? Statement A is correct? No. Statement B is correct? That is correct. Both the statements are correct? No. And none of these cannot be the answer here. So that means statement B is correct. So statement B is the correct answer here. So I hope you all must have got the topic. Thank you, students.